All right, back in the sun. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Second Football Channel for the first video of the Euros. I know I'm a day late. Yesterday should have been a little review of match day number 1. I said I was going to do every day, but I technically missed the day. But we had Friday's game of Italy. They beat Turkey 3-0. We're going to talk about that today. And of course, we're also going to talk about the events of Denmark versus Finland and also Belgium, who made a very convincing start. I'm going to try and give my insights as to how I think the tournament's going to go in today's video. And then obviously we've got England tonight. So if you are not yet subscribed to GBFC 2, now is the time to do so. I'm going to be releasing a preview for the England-Croatia game pretty much immediately after this video goes live. So we're going to try and keep things, even though yesterday was heavily dominated, rightly so, by the incredibly unfortunate events of Christian Eriksen's fall, which, again, as of the time of me recording this video, I still don't have the definitive as to what actually happened to Christian Eriksen, but we'll go into that in a moment. We want to begin by talking about Italy. Now, at the beginning of the tournament, or before a ball was even kicked, Italy were kind of a popular second team amongst the people who, at least I know, who are English and obviously rooting for England to win the Euros. Everyone kind of liked Italy. They're going into this tournament in very good form. They're winning every match they play. They're not conceding any goals. It's kind of a classic Italian thing, you know, very strong at the back, very fluid going forward. And I'll be honest, I thought Turkey were going to be potential dark horses in this tournament, but Italy were, from minute one, absolutely sensational. I think our boy Chelsea's Jorginho had a fantastic game in the middle for Italy. And I think 3-0 is actually a very kind scoreline to Turkey. I think Italy were that good. They just seem to know how to get the job done. They're obviously specialists in these major competitions. They've won the World Cup, I think, 4 times or 5 times, which is a pretty high number. And it looks to me now like they've really got a good balance in their squad. And I think in Group A, they're going to be the runaway leaders in that group, and I expect them to go pretty far in this competition. It was very convincing. Started off with an own goal, which, to be honest, I think throughout the entire game, the Turkish defending was absolutely abysmal. Anytime they got anywhere closer on the counter-attack, Italy dealt with it incredibly well. And then Insigne scored, Immobile scored, and Immobile is one of those players who I find it absolutely incredible how when we talk about the big-name European strikers, if I bring it back to what we've been talking about on the main channel with Chelsea's interest in a main striker, Ciro Immobile in Serie A for the last 5 years has been bagging in goals galore for Lazio, and he bags one on match game number 1 for Italy. They run away with a 3-0 win, and it was incredibly convincing. We move into Denmark versus Finland, and I'll be very, very blunt and honest with you here. It's incredibly difficult to know as, well, I mean, I don't have a professional tag on my ear like a cow would saying like, I'm qualified to talk about this, but at the same time, we have to talk about it because it is, and it probably will be, the biggest talking point of the tournament. Regardless of who wins, I think the biggest victory that we could see was the absolutely incredible reaction yesterday. First of all, from Anthony Taylor, the referee, who, I'm a Chelsea fan, we don't like Anthony Taylor, but when something like this happens, you completely remove any bias or any dislike you have. Christian Eriksen used to be a Spurs player. He used to be someone that we would boo at Stamford Bridge. But when you really remove rivalries and I call it like the existential side of football, which is something bigger than what our own feelings are towards certain individuals and entities. A man, Christian Eriksen, fell on the pitch, and it seemed to be, at the time of watching, I honestly believe I've never seen something so harrowing and horrific on a television before in my life, because it's the game that we love. You never ever expect to see anything other than maybe, you know, worse things we've seen in leg breaks at times, and Fabrice Muamba obviously collapsed on the pitch as well, but Eriksen's running towards the ball coming towards him for the throw-in, and he collapses on the floor. And at first, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm a bit like the Finland defender who was kind of like, first split-second reaction, he just doesn't understand why he's gone to the ground. And then all of a sudden, Anthony Taylor's reaction, the entire reaction from the medical team, and everything about it was dealt with in a way that absolutely 100% categorically saved Christian Eriksen's life. Simon Kjær, the Denmark captain, what an incredible leader that man is. That is, take away football leadership, that is masculine leadership of the highest level. Just knowing exactly what to do in a moment of pressure where these guys train to kick the ball in the net of the other team, 11 versus 11. They're not trained to have to understand that their teammate, their friend, might have just passed away on the floor. It's very difficult to know how to approach this one, as I said at the beginning, but the way it was dealt with was just absolutely incredible. And I honestly believe that if it wasn't dealt with in the most perfect manner in which it was, man by man, we would be sat here today probably not even making a video, to be honest, because how the bloody hell do you talk about this? But the reaction was incredible. The best part of the news is that Christian Eriksen did, in fact, raise his hand when he left the stadium, which at the time, when everyone's watching it live on television, no one knew that that was the case. It was pictures that were released about 35, 40 minutes after the incident. And then obviously everybody is just in shock. I'm watching it, and as much as I don't want to focus on this too much because it's a whole topic for a whole other video. The fact that the coverage didn't stop blew my mind. And in some weird psychological way, it just made me even more engrossed and engaged in the situation, even though I didn't want to see it. And I know that is a very difficult thing to comprehend perhaps, but it was... Hello Cat, how you doing mate? You good? He's got a bit of dry skin on his neck. We've got to brush this little geezer. But yeah, the way it was dealt with, other than the coverage of everything, was absolutely fantastic, and it saved the life of one of the best midfielders we've seen in the Premier League and an absolute Danish footballing legend. And I think despite the result yesterday, which Finland take the victory, which again, even in a completely different world, is an entire story in itself. Finland's first ever game at a major competition, and they managed to beat, as a Nordic nation, their Scandinavian rivals, which in itself was another interesting point. Obviously my thoughts, prayers and everything is with Christian Eriksen and his family, and the speediest recovery possible. But the news after the initial incident, which looked absolutely grave and horrible, is good. So that's a positive. Finland get the result. As a footballing spectacle, it was very difficult to watch after that, to be honest, because obviously the Danish players, how they all agreed to actually go back out and play the game is beyond me, but absolute credit. Denmark didn't get the result, but each and every one of those players, staff members, is an absolute credit to the nation. And Finland get the win, which definitely goes against the grain of what everybody expected. Finland were one of the surprise packages to even reach this competition. So it's a great result for them. I think they had 1 or 2 attempts the entire game. Denmark dominated things, but understandably so, the clinical nature of the finishing was not quite there. Good result for Finland. We move into Belgium, who again look ominous. Russia, they were surprise packages of their own World Cup, to be honest. Even though they were the hosts, they did incredibly well to get where they got to in the World Cup in 2018. And they don't quite look as good as they were. They were in St. Petersburg last night. Belgium, they look good. You know, the fact that Eden Hazard comes on with 18 minutes to go, and well, he still managed more dribbles than anyone else throughout the entire game. Who's really surprised about that one? His brother Torgan started, and it's all about Romelu Lukaku. He scores the first goal, runs over to the camera, brilliant celebration with the love for Christian Eriksen, and he scores again, and then Thomas Meunier scores as well. It's a 3-0 win for Belgium. Similar to that of Italy. I think Belgium are going to be incredibly strong this tournament. No Kevin De Bruyne last night, which is obviously a big miss for them, but he'll be back later on in the tournament, which again is a very daunting prospect as an England fan who really thinks we can go on and win it this year. I'll talk about England a lot more in the video that goes out immediately after this one, but it's a great win for Belgium, 3-0 against Russia. And it's all eyes on England again today. I'm incredibly excited for it. This has been the first roundup video of my Euro 2021 series here on GBFC 2. I apologise it's not been predictions and build-up, but I've been incredibly busy with animals in the past couple of weeks, and to be honest, I underestimated what life as a dog owner is actually all about. So it neglected the channel, but I've obviously had progress in other areas of my life that I'm sure you guys can understand and appreciate. But anyway, like I said throughout the whole video, it's been a tough one to do, but hopefully I delivered it as best as I could for you guys. Thoughts and prayers are with Christian Eriksen and his family for a speedy full recovery, and I hope we can see him out on a pitch again soon. Not going to be for Denmark in this competition, but for Inter Milan or wherever he decides to go next season. We all hope to see Christian Eriksen back on the pitch very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to tune in for my England-Croatia preview later on today, and there will be daily videos now until the end of Euro 2021 here on GBFC 2. Thank you guys for watching. See you all later. Come on, England.